I would write my life quote there. I would write, you can get everything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. Think of our politicians. I don't want to get into politics. Think of our politicians. If our world leaders thought in that way, what can they do for others versus what can they do for themselves, right? Think of that. That's what I would put up there. I think if everybody had that servant leadership mindset and heart to help others, it would be amazing what this world could become.
Hello and welcome. We are interviewing business leaders and entrepreneurs on how they are shining the light in these troubled days by leading organizations that are thriving and providing employment and opportunities for their employees and their clients. We have Ron with us. Ron, welcome to the show.
David, good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Ron, for the audience, and people know that I don't know how to say last names properly. So give me your full name. Where do you live and what do you do for a living?
So name is Ron Alvesteffer. So I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's the headquarters, the global headquarters of Service Express, where I'm the CEO. I've been here for 27 years at the company. Joined when I was the 15th employee with four locations, and we were under 3 million in total revenue. And currently, we have 53 locations in the U.S. We're over in the U.K. Location north of London. Do service throughout Europe as well. We're about 350 million in revenue with 900 employees, and so it's been an amazing journey. I've been blessed to be part of it.
So that's not 10x. That's 100x.
That's 100x. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my faith is Christianity. I'm a born-again Christian, and the Bible talks about the Isaac, the son of Abraham. And the Bible says that when he planted, the first time he planted, the Lord gave him 100x return on his crops. 100x.
100x. Yeah.
And you're the first person that I actually see that is not just somebody that fills their mouth with lies, that actually has done it. Congratulations, 100x return. That's amazing.
Well, we have been blessed. I'm a Christian myself. I do believe it's a God thing who's blessed us and guided us on this journey. And they say I read a book once that talked about praying bigger prayers and impossible prayers, and I'm like, when I joined, I couldn't have thought this big. This wasn't in my plans. I was just thankful to have the opportunity, but it's turned into something far bigger than I could have ever dreamed or really probably prayed for. It's been a huge blessing to me and so many people, and that's our story, is trying to create the best company we possibly can that can be a blessing to so many other people. I have a quote outside my office here. It's really my life quote, which is from Zig Ziglar. It says, you can get everything you want out of life if you just help enough other people get what they want. And it's really a servant leadership mentality and model. And that's how Service Express has been built. And that's still our guiding light as we continue to build and grow forward together.
Ron, that's incredible. You know that it's not a joke. I mean, it's been 27 years, but most businesses don't get past 2 years to begin with.
Yeah.
The people that make it to 10 years in businesses, I call them unicorns, not for their size, but for the stamina that it takes to be in business after 10 years. But most companies, even if companies that make it past $1 million are very few. And companies that make it past $1 million, they never make it past 5 million. Like, they get stuck between $1 and $5 million. Like, go look at the statistics. Yeah. The great majority of small businesses behave like that. It's very hard to become a medium-sized business, which is what you guys are. It's incredible. And also having the resilience to stay in the same business for such a long time. You don't see that anymore, right? There is very little loyalty, right?
Well, and I never thought I would be in the same company for this long. I thought, back in my mid-20s, when I joined, I was just like probably people in their mid-20s today. I mean, I was restless, and you're moving around, you're looking for opportunities, and honestly, I thought I'd probably be here 3 to 5 years and move on to another position. And 27 years later, I'm still here. I think for me, again, it's just been an amazing opportunity. And then that's what I really, when I talk about Service Express, and I greet all of our new hires, the cohort of new hires. I meet them, we do a video call together, and I tell them, if you came here looking for a job, this isn't for you. It's not just a job. It might be cliche, but really think of this as an opportunity. You have an opportunity to really invest in yourself and grow with an amazing company surrounded by amazing people here at the company. And that's what's kept me here. That's my story. And the fun part about this journey is, every 5 years or so, I feel like because of the growth, because of the opportunity, new initiatives, new strategies, whatever, it almost feels like a new job every 5 years, because now I'm on to something else within the company. Not necessarily a different title or position, but just a new initiative, a new strategy that's exciting and energizing. And you go tap, what's it take to get from, you said it, from 3 million to 10 million? What's it take to get from 10 to 20? When we were 10 million in revenue, we set up a BHAG, that's a Jim Collins term, who wrote Good to Great, Built to Last, a big, hairy, audacious goal. We said, we're going to be 100 million in revenue by 2020. And, people are like, we're crazy. We're just trying to figure out how to get to the next step. I know, but that's the journey, and we're going to figure out how to do that. And the fun that you have along in the journey and the new and different things that you do, that's what's always kept it fresh and exciting for me. And so we accomplished that goal. Now it took me 20 years to do that. Now we've done it 2 more times in the last 5 years. And now we want to go to $1 billion and above, not just to be a bigger company, but just because the opportunity is there. And what can we do for people and with people to get there? That's the fun in the journey. It's really about the people you work with, the customers you serve, the partners that you connect with, the connections you make like this today. That's all part of the fun and the opportunity we have.
Ron, I see a pattern here. It took you 20 years to get $100 million in revenue, and 5 years to double that, do it twice over, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Did you figure it out? Did you figure out finally the formula to actually accelerate it in such a way?
Yeah, I think we figured out that step in the journey. I think it was a culmination of things that we did. It was our organic growth, our go-to-market sales machine that we're always working on. And I use the term evolve a lot because it's not necessarily change, but it's evolving as you grow. Just like you and I do as humans, we evolve as we grow. The company is a collection of humans who all evolve as they grow. And so our organic go-to-market strategy has really evolved over the last 6 or 7 years, especially through COVID. We had to pivot from complete outside sales to total inside sales. Now we're pivoting back to more of a hybrid go-to-market strategy post-COVID. And so doing that, we did some acquisitions. We've had some great financial sponsors that allow us to do some acquisitions, including a significant one in the UK, a third-party maintenance and managed services provider in the UK that got us over into Europe, and it's going to allow us to expand through Europe. And so that was significant as well. And so it was, I would say, a number of key strategies that were designed for that phase of growth. And now we're thinking around our next phase and what would it take? Some more acquisitions, specifically probably throughout Europe. We want to expand throughout Europe. We want to continue to grow in North America. We want to continue to grow organically. We've got a huge total addressable market. I like to say we're $1 billion company. We just haven't built it yet, but that's who we are and what we're building. And eventually that's what we're going to be.
That's amazing. And you can do it for sure, Ron. I interviewed the CIO of this company that nobody knows about. It's called Worldwide Technologies. Christian-based ownership, $27 billion a year in revenue. And nobody knows who they are.
Yeah. Isn't that something? There's another company that I just became familiar with. Their CEO, it's a security company, and their CEO joined them in 1996 when they were 12 million in revenue, and now they're $20 billion in revenue. And so, I joined Service Express a year later. We are a quarter of the size, to be fair, but we've grown 100x, but I don't even know what X amount that growth is, what he did. And so, it's always so great. Like, you look back and see what we've achieved as a company together as a team, and you're proud of that. It's exciting and fun. And then you're quickly humbled to look at somebody else who then went beyond. And that stuff actually excites me and motivates me. I love it. I'm just like, look it, there's always, it's kind of true with life. There's always somebody doing more. There's always people doing less. We're blessed where we're at. We're blessed with the opportunity we have, and we're going to do the best with it we can. That stuff really, really inspires me, honestly.
Ron, another factor that contributed to your great growth is that you are providing a great opportunity to your employees and also to your clients. When you provide such an amazing service and you provide opportunities for growth inside, your culture grows. And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Once you figure out how to lead your company, how to provide the necessary building blocks to grow their own career, so that the ultimate goal is actually provide an exceptional service to your clients, everybody wins. There is nobody losing. So why wouldn't you grow as much as the Lord allows you to grow if you're creating an environment where everybody is happy and thriving, right?
That's the foundation of how we've been built. And, honestly, it goes back to my roots. I have a teaching degree from Central Michigan University, Fire Up Chips, graduated at 22 with a teaching degree and realized what I thought I wanted to do at 18, teach and coach, when I was 22 wasn't really what I wanted to do. I had some friends who started building their sales careers. That really appealed to me, and the competitive part of me and the sports-minded part of me of competing to win and doing that. So I set off building a sales career, and then I got the opportunity here at Service Express about 5 years later. And now as CEO, when I don't have a business degree, I have a teaching degree. I'm not a technology guy, as everybody here would attest. In fact, I have two people from my great IT team that are sitting outside my office right now in case things go wrong, they can save me. I did a podcast one time where I unplugged myself like in a live podcast. So I have a team around me. So technology is not my background, but the people part is. And when I took over as president in 2002, my first thought was, I'm going to build this around people. This is how we're going to win. We're going to create a culture and environment where we can attract the best talent. They can do their best work, and they'll be recognized and rewarded for that. We'll create those opportunities at Service Express, and people are number one strategy. They're top of our flywheel, which is how we think about our core strategies and initiatives to build around. If we surround ourselves with the right kind of people for Service Express, who want to grow, who want an opportunity, who want to be challenged, who want to continue to go that way, and we can help them achieve those goals, it really comes back to our core value, which is creating a culture of growth that empowers our people to achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. I want everybody at the company to do what I could do, which is look back on my hire date, for me it was August 18, 1997, and look back and think, I've achieved more than I ever dreamed, personally, professionally, and financially. I've got a wife, 3 kids. When I joined, I wasn't married yet, not a family yet. Now I've got an amazing wife, 3 great kids. Professionally, I never dreamed of being a CEO, but here I am. Financially, it's delivered based on the value that I've created here, more than I ever dreamed. And that's what I want for every single person at Service Express. I want them to recite their hire date and say, through Service Express, I've got the personal life that I want, the work-life balance, the integration, harmony, whatever you call it. I'm doing the exact kind of work I want to do in my career. And I want everybody to make more money than they've ever made anywhere else right here at Service Express, based on the value that they provide to our team, to our customers, to our partners, to do that. And if we can create that environment and we can surround ourselves with the right kind of people for us, and they can actually achieve all those goals, there's no market, no competition. There's nothing that can stop us from doing that.
Beautiful. Well said. And that's why I am a capitalist and I love the free world, because what you just said is the result of living in a free society where you get to do whatever you want to do, and you will be rewarded according to the value that you are providing to others. That's the beautiful part about this system, right? You're not required because you're kissing up in government, and the more control you have. No, you're only rewarded proportionally to the value that you're adding to others.
That's exactly how we're built, and that's exactly the mission. And we have a robust performance measurement system we use as we track that value and the results from a company basis, department basis, location. right down to individuals. Every individual at Service Express, including myself, has an individual measurable job description that says, here's what you're responsible for, here are the goals, and we fill it out every month and we share it with our leaders and say, here's how we're performing. And so people who want to perform and want to achieve like being at Service Express, people who want to hide, who don't want to perform, who do want things given to them, they're not going to like it here. And by the way, it doesn't mean they're bad people. They're going to be great people. It just means they're not the right fit for what we're doing here at Service Express. But being rewarded for that value you bring, that's the basis of that core value. And we have what we call vision talks, which are twice a year. People, they write down their goals. We collect them online on our intranet. They're private for the person whose goals they are. And twice a year, they have a vision talk with their leader where they share their goals. Here's what I want to achieve at Service Express. Here's what I'm looking to accomplish through Service Express. And so the leader works with them, not to hand out. We're not the gold genie where we just say, you get this, you get that. But it's, okay, how do we develop you? How do we position you? What opportunities are there, for you to go out and achieve those goals? And that's really the basis. And when I have those vision talks, even with my executive assistant, when we sit down, she's got over 2 pages of goals that she's achieved since she's been at Service Express. I love it. That's how we start our meeting. And then she said, now here's what I want to do next. And those are such exciting conversations. And if we can get that right, and we're not perfect at it, but when we get that right, that's what opens up all the doors for us, all the opportunities to keep building this great company.
It's beautiful. And you basically what you're saying is success breeds success, right? And if you start with small tangible goals and people start tasting that success, they want more. And then you grow the goal so that you come from 3 million to 300 million.
That's what it's added up to over time. That's what happens. It's small steps taken every day. Exactly. Everybody working together, hard to achieve what they're trying to do. Look, we're far from perfect. We make a ton of mistakes. In fact, I tell everyone, everything we do really well today, we did poorly at one time. We just fixed it, and those who stick around with us and solve the problems and help people, they create an amazing career for themselves. And that's how we've built Service Express. So it's far from perfect, but it's amazing. It's fun. And solving those problems, that's where the fun is. And I like to say, solving business problems with smart, talented people is about as much fun as you can have during the course of a business day. That's where all the action is at. So I encourage everybody, I have a saying here, run to the problems. You want to build your career? Run to the problems. Solve problems and help people. I speak at a leadership class at the University of Michigan once a semester. I'm going there next week, and that will be part of my message. Don't chase money or titles. Don't chase those things. Solve problems, help people, and the money and the titles will chase you. Right? But people get that backwards sometimes. Well, I won't do that until you pay me. If you pay me, then I'll do it. No. Go do it. And then I'll pay you more than you're even thinking when you do that. And that's how this opportunity is created.
And I actually got two examples. There are extreme examples that I experienced in my life of what you're saying. I partnered with another person. He's still a good friend. I partnered with him in 2007 because I didn't know how to sell. I was just a software programmer, right? And pretending to be a CEO and just running this company that was just word of mouth. So I didn't know how to sell, and he didn't know how to deliver. He had a similar company to mine in a different geographical location. So we decided that he will teach me how to sell and I will teach him how to deliver. And during that time, he hired a person, family member. The guy was an electronics engineer, and he wanted to become an executive in the software world. Completely different career pace. But he told him, this is the deal. You work here for a year for free. You prove that you add value, and I will give you the reins.
Yeah.
I don't think I will do it. But he did it. He actually worked for free for this guy for a year, and it was under his wing for a whole year. Now he runs the business.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a year of sacrifice. So that's number one example. The second example was a little different, but very similar. This guy from Romania, so I was already a manager in IT back in 2002, 2003. This guy from Romania came to Canada as a refugee and excellent programmer, but we didn't have any jobs. I was working for a laboratory back then. It was about 500 people back then. Now it's like 10,000 people. But the thing is that we didn't have many IT jobs, right? And the kid came and he said, nobody will give me a job. I don't have any Canadian experience. Allow me to work for free. And I talked to my boss, so I went to the CIO, and I'm like, I really like this kid. I know we don't have the budget to hire him. He wants to work for free. Is that possible? So they went and talked to HR. They made him an intern. He ended up working like almost a year for free. Now he is the CIO.
Yeah.
And he never left.
Yeah.
So he added the value to your point. They were willing to even work for free, but it changed their life.
That's right. That's right.
Now they're on top of the world.
Yeah. What I love about that is those are extreme examples that paid off big. And, it reminds me of the saying, everybody wants to have what I have, but not everybody wants to do what I did. So there's an example. People have those careers and those titles now, but who would really be willing to work for free for a year? I mean, I've never done that either myself. That's an extreme example.
Me neither.
But paid off great. And what I love about that is, like, for here at Service Express, we're not asking anybody to work for free. We're just saying add value beyond what your regular job description is. Like an A player that we talked about at Service Express is somebody who's a high performer in their role, but also performs in that role in a way that helps other people perform better in their roles, right? And so it's not somebody who just, hey, I'll do my job and I don't care about anybody else. I'll dump on that. It's like, I'll do it in a way that other people connected to me, supporting me in whatever way, can do their jobs better. And so that's what we're really talking about. And when there's leadership opportunities, which is a great example. Like when I was named president in 2002, I approached the founder and said, hey, I think we're in a position now as we're growing. The founder was more of a startup entrepreneur, great guy, great leader, great visionary for this. And I said, I think it's time, to have a transition to name me president. And you become my lead investor, but leave the day to day and let me run the company. And he said, all right, if you want to be president, why don't you go out there and act like you're president? And so, he didn't give me the title. He didn't name me president. I didn't get a raise, but I got permission. I got the opportunity to say, go act like it, and we'll see if you can do it. If you're doing it, I'll give you the job. And so I went out. And I didn't start bossing people around. I started connecting with different departments. What are you trying to achieve? Are there any roadblocks in your way we can remove? How do we all work together? Let's all get on the same page and do these things. And I did all that for, a few months and kind of came back and he said, yeah, I think this is working. And, I'm ready to name you president. When we told people what that would look like, I'd meet with people, I'd remove roadblocks, I'd make sure we're all working together. They said, well, you're doing that already. And I said, well, now hopefully I'll get the title and, the pay or whatever. But the point was, I chased the opportunity. I didn't wait for the title. I've noticed in my career here, people who like, I want to be a leader, but I can't lead until you give me the title and the raise. They don't really want to be a leader. They just want the position and they want the perks that come along with it. The people who are true leaders that I've found here, they're going to lead whether you give them the title or the pay or not. They can't help themselves but get involved. And leading is, again, not being a boss and barking orders. Leading is helping. Leading is serving. How can I help you? What can I do for you? And people who do that without the title or money, those are the people we look to promote into leadership.
Of course, and and they are, without even knowing, they are executing a Bible principle. The Bible says faith without works is dead. So basically, you have the faith that you can do it, but then you gotta go and try doing it. And by faith, you move, but then your execution will be guided to success, even though you may fail 10 times trying to get it, right?
Absolutely. And then your job as a leader is to teach and coach. So coming back to my background, I said I didn't want to teach and coach. That's actually what I spend the majority of my day doing, is teaching and coaching. It's just a different classroom. It's a different field of play. Right? But you teach, you coach, you develop your teams to achieve and grow without you. And again, it's biblical. You want to feed someone for a day, give them the fish.
Yeah.
You want to feed them for a lifetime, teach them how to fish. That's how I think about developing people at Service Express. Develop them so they don't need you. They can go on and do that without you. That's where you're really creating value in that person's life. That's what we aim for. Again, we're not perfect at it, but that's our North Star, and that's what we're trying to do every day here.
Amen, brother. Yeah, and I never did anything like those two examples that I told you. It just impacted my life. But one thing I did do that you mentioned, and if people only did this, if everybody listening to this podcast only listen to this and apply it to their life, especially if they're starting their leadership career. My dad and my father-in-law, when I started my first job, they just gave me this advice. Always go the extra mile. Mm-hmm. Go over and above your responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's all I did, honestly. That's my whole life. That's all I did. And you don't know how fast I grew in my career until I became a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do still. Like, how can I add more value over and above of my pay grade, right?
And it's usually not a dramatic amount. It's not a dramatic result. There's a podcast I listen to. It's called the Prof G podcast. It's by Scott Galloway, who's a economics professor at NYU. Really, really smart podcaster. And somebody called in one time talking about building his career and any career advice that he had. He said two things. He said, one, find out when people come in the office and when they leave, and come in a half an hour earlier and stay a half an hour later, right? Be known as that person who does that. And the other one is figure out what problems that your manager, your boss is trying to solve, their biggest problems, and help solve those for him or her. Do that and watch how the world will open up to you. That's going the extra mile, not just doing your job, but do those things. And and the thing about coming, I just talked with a cohort of at Service Express about this. I said, if you came in a half an hour earlier, this was a sales development group. If you came in a half an hour earlier and stayed a half an hour later, a couple things. One, if you're trying to get a hold of people like me, that's when you're going to get a hold of them. Because if you call me during 8 to 5, you're not talking to me because I'm running the company. Mm-hmm. But if you catch me before, or I'm here a lot of times afterwards, catching up on work, my thoughts, that's when I might be prone to respond to the email, the LinkedIn message, the phone. So one, that's where the players are. And two, if you do that, that's an hour a day. That's 5 hours a week, right? That's 20 hours a month. That's 240 hours a year on a 40-hour work week. That's 6 extra weeks that you have. Now, when you're in sales, this adds up. This gives you 6 more weeks of selling time, of production time, than it does to your nearest competitor. Now, you don't even have to be as talented or as good as they are to outperform them if you have 6 extra weeks that you're working. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really a half an hour earlier and a half an hour later, done consistently. It's not 80-hour work weeks.
No.
It's not, you're not sacrificing work-life balance. It's just a little bit more. It's like the compound effect. Another great book by Darren Hardy. A little bit more, done consistently, added up over time, like compound interest, turns into a lot. And that's not for everybody. Some people hear that and go like, that's not what I want. I'm not doing that. I'm not even coming in the office. That's fine. You don't have to do that. But again, job versus opportunity. We want people who see the opportunity, you're excited about it. I don't want you to sacrifice your personal life. I didn't. I did those things, and I still had amazing work-life balance, work-life integration, harmony.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was the opposite. I sacrificed everything to get to where I am, and I wouldn't do it again that way because I did the 18-hour days sometimes. Sometimes I did the 80-hour week, and when you see your children grow horizontally, because every time you come home they are asleep, and when you leave they are asleep, there's nothing more stupid than to do that in your life. Because I had to develop a relationship with them when they were adults, because when they were kids I was absent. That's not a good parent. That's, and there is no money in the world that will ever pay back those days.
I agree. And that's again,
that's what you said, right?
Yeah, there's that balance. Again, I'm not advocating 80-hour work weeks. I don't want people here that long. Years ago we had somebody doing that. I said, man, that is not impressive. Mm-hmm. And you're straining everybody else. Like, get get your work done, and go. It's not so much about the hours, it's about the effort within there. And again, if you're building your career, if you're starting out a little bit more in the front, the extra mile, a little bit more in the end, you can still have all the balance you want. I was the same way. I wanted to be a committed father, husband. I was able to see my kids' games, coach their games, be involved. I didn't see everyone, but it's like I had 3 of them, so I couldn't see everyone anyways. I was outnumbered, right? That's not a bad thing either. They learned to they were in it for them. They don't. I think there's a balance too of how involved parents really need to be. So there's that whole balance together. Now they're adults, have a great relationship with them. So it's keeping us all in balance. And again, personal, professional, and financial goals. What does it look like? What are you trying to achieve? How do we work together to create that balance and that opportunity and achieve those things together? And it's not a straight line. There's mistakes made along the way. There's adjustments made along the way. Nobody's claiming perfection. I'm never striving for perfection. I think perfection gets in the way of greatness. You're just trying to be the best you possibly can be. And if you make mistakes, you own it, you work to fix it, and you move forward together. And when you look back at the end of the day, you might be part of something that grew 100x.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And for a short period of time in your career, if you want to achieve something that you don't have the means to do it and you're still single, that might be okay, right? Like let's say I was single, I'm into a new business venture, I know it could work. Yeah, I'll do bootstrapping for 2-3 years.
Yeah. Right?
But above and beyond that, or sacrificing your family to gain business success is detrimental because it's not sustainable. At the end, you may get the money, but you don't get the family, which is completely backwards. There is nothing worse than a rich, lonely person.
Yeah. And that's not what we want. And we believe the healthier you are outside of work, the better you'll be at work. And the better you are at work, healthier here, the better you'll be at home. And again, it's not an exact straight line, but trying to keep that in balance is a key for people being here. If I'd have worked that hard that long, I couldn't have made it 27 years. It wouldn't have been possible. And I'm nothing special, did anything different. I want everybody to be able to do what I did. I just worked real hard to do my best, help others. Again, Zig Ziglar, you can get everything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. So that's been my mantra and my goal. I don't always get it right, but I wake up every day trying to do it.
That's beautiful. Ron, I know in that career and in that lifespan, I've been in business for 19 years now, and I went almost bankrupt 3 times. Tell me what has been the worst business problem that you ever encountered, and how did you come out of it?
Yeah, this goes back earlier in my career, and it was all self-induced, really. I mean, I was the kind of leader. I was too intense, too driven. I was not hiring right, the right people. I was not treating the people I did hire correctly. I wanted it, too bad, and it came out not in healthy ways. And I had to do a lot of self-reflection. And at the time, the sales group that I was head of was struggling. I was struggling. I was frustrated. They were frustrated. This was before I was named president. And I really had to take a look in the mirror and say, are you the kind of person you would want to work for? Would I want a leader like me? And the answer was no. I was not the leader I wanted to be. I was not the husband at the time I wanted to be. I was not the friend I wanted to be, the employee. And I had to stop and go, I'm doing this wrong. I'm pushing all about numbers on a spreadsheet and results, and I'm not caring about people. And I did care about them, but I certainly wasn't acting like it, and I certainly wasn't showing them. And I was not putting them before the numbers. So even though I cared about them, I wasn't putting them before the numbers. And so I had to really kind of take a time out on myself and say, what kind of leader do you want to be? And I had to step back and say, look, I'm going to pour myself into people first, worry about the numbers later. The numbers are important, but what I found is if you pour into people, if you truly care about people and you work to help them, at the end of the day, the numbers will be there. So it's not, we talk, and we use that to this day, we talk about a care plus performance culture we have, which is we care about our people tremendously, but we also want to perform. We want to build a company. So when you blend those, when you coach, you develop, you teach and coach and care, The numbers will be there, and that's important. They're there. If you only care about the numbers, you're not going to be a leader that anybody wants to follow. If you only focus on the care, which means you try to make everyone happy, but you never challenge them to grow, to be better, coach them, then they're not going to develop, and we're not going to get where we want. So blending that together. And so early on in my career, that moment was a watershed moment for me. I was either going to wash out of Service Express, who knows, go with my career, or I needed to change. And the change was me. It wasn't my team. It wasn't others. I had to change my approach. And when I changed that, everything changed for me. And it's still something I have to be aware of as a leader today, because I have a lot of energy. I'm pretty intense. I have to, as my wife will tell me too, I have to watch my intense tone. It comes across sometimes, that way. And I have to watch my delivery, because if I don't do it right, if I go overboard, it pushes people away. And I had somebody here, one of my executives who works with me, said, your energy is infectious. You never have to try to ramp it up, because when you go too much, now it becomes too intense, and now we kind of don't move and we don't perform at our best. And so I have to continuously watch that. I think as I've gotten older, it's helped a little bit, but it's still what I have to watch. But that was a crucible in my career that if I didn't change, I wouldn't have been here, and I wouldn't be part of this great group of people that we have today. So self-reflection is a big trait that I look for in leaders. Are you self-reflective in who you are and how you're performing, and can you make the necessary changes and continue to evolve?
But you know why that's so hard for people to do? Because it requires humility. If you're going to self-analyze yourself and realize that a lot of the things that you're doing are wrong, you have to be humble, because the proud person is the one that hides their mistakes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And I've gotten it wrong since then. I can look back in some interactions and it's like, man, if I could do that over again, I'd do it differently than I did, or how I interacted with that person or treated that person. But you continue to try to learn from those and get better. And I think through those, I've had a lot more positive interactions than the negative ones, but it's still one I have to watch. And yeah, I think to be a leader, you do have to humble yourself. And we talk about that here at Service Express. Your ego, we all have egos. Your ego should be for serving others, helping others accomplish their goals. The ego's for the organization, for other people, not for yourself. Mm-hmm. It's for others. And if you can channel that the right way, and I think you're on the way to success, at least the way we define it. Again, we're not for everybody, but this is our culture. This is how we think about it, and this is what we're striving to do.
And it's working out.
And it's working out. It's working out so far, and I think we have a great road ahead of us. I'm humbled to be surrounded by amazing people here in our organization, leaders, frontline employees, team members, different departments. I'm amazed and inspired every day with the team that we have at Service Express, and really I'm just doing my best to keep up and to be a part of it, and to play the role that I'm called to play here for the company today and going forward.
Beautiful. Ron, thank you so much for your time. 40 minutes went by so fast. It's been an amazing interview, but I want to respect your time. I know you're a busy executive. One last question before we finish. If you had access to a billboard in front of the busiest highway on earth, what would you write on it?
I would write my life quote there. I would write, you can get everything you want out of life if you help enough other people get what they want. Think of our politicians. I don't want to get into politics. Think of our politicians, if our world leaders thought in that way. What can they do for others versus what can they do for themselves, right? Think of that. That's what I would put up there. I think if everybody had that servant leadership mindset and heart to help others, it would be amazing what this world could become.
It's true. And it's, you just described the golden rule. The difference between our faith and other faiths is the golden rule. And I'll explain this because it comes to what you just said. Jesus said, do unto others what you want them to do unto you. That's the golden rule, and that's what you're talking about. Now, what the other religions say is the opposite. Don't do unto others what you don't want them to do unto you. So it's a passive advice. And so that's egocentric, and it doesn't create anything good. Basically, it's like I'm by myself, and I'm not going to bother you, and you don't bother me, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. But when you do it in the Christian way, you're going to try to help somebody else because you want to be helped. You're going to try to fulfill that need because if you had that need, you wanted somebody to help you out. And that's what creates success, right? Go and try to accomplish somebody else's dream, and then your own dream will be accomplished.
That's right. That's right. I'm Christian as well. I would say whether you believe Jesus was who he said he was or not, he certainly was the model for servant leadership, and that servant leadership has stood the test of time. So whether you believe he said who he was or not, you can't deny there's been no other leader that has had the impact that he has had. And so I think it's a great role model to follow for sure.
Yeah, we got to learn to wash our disciples' feet, right?
That's servant leadership.
Right?
That's
Ron, thank you so much for your time. If people like to ask you more questions, where can they find you online?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, Ron Alvesteffer at Service Express on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have a weekly blog that comes out. You can sign up for. You can find it on LinkedIn. It comes out Thursdays. You can sign up for it at ronalvesteffer.com, where I share video blogs, 3 to 5 minutes of leadership tips and ideas. And it's really, people always say, where do you get the ideas? I'm said, this is stuff I'm working through myself every day. I'm just sharing the journey that I'm on, and hopefully it resonates with others. So there's a lot of places to find me online, and would love to connect. And we're growing and hiring. So if this all appeals to you, it sounds like a great opportunity. Would love to talk to you about opportunities we have growing forward as well.
Beautiful, Ron. Thank you so much. We'll make sure we put all those links on the blog about this podcast. And God bless you. May the Lord shine his light upon you and show mercy to you, and the prosperity that you're looking for, may you get it eventually.
Thank you so much, David. I enjoyed the conversation. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. Have a blessed day.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching another episode of Anchoring Hope, where we're shining the light in these last days and hoping for the best, because the best is in the Bible. Please share this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also check other social media for more content. And as always, remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and I love you too.